Today we'll be working on the lymphatic system, so come to all fours position.
Take your right knee up toward your right armpit. The area of the lymphatic system that we're working today is actually the groin area, especially the inner groin area, and the armpit area. And the reason is the lymph nodes are everywhere. That was an overstatement, but they especially congregate in the armpit area and the inner groins. Take your right knee out to the right side, lift the right knee up, and just kind of do a circle with the right knee. Make a big circle. And place the right knee down and just come back to child's pose. Allowing the groin area here to just get a little bit stimulation here just through the movement. Come back to all fours position. Take your left leg up, and same thing with the knee. Just make a big circle. Place your knee down. Come back to child's pose again. Lift up to all fours position. We'll be doing dolphin pose, which is on our forearms. If that's not working for your shoulders today, you can just come to all fours position if you wish. But we're trying to come toward an inversion of some sort to really stimulate the lymphatic system here. So by tucking your toes under, with your forearms down, lift your pelvis up. Walk your feet in just a wee bit so that you get a little bit more anchorage of your forearms. Lift your right leg up in the air to even invert yourself a little bit more. Release your right foot down. Take your left foot in the air. Release your left foot down. Then just pause in this dolphin pose. And to be too much, just come out of the pose and come to child's pose. So as you press through the wrist creases, hug the elbows in. Keep your head released, your neck relaxed. Stay here for 3 more breaths. And now come down all fours position. And as we meet in all fours position, come to face the front of the mat in all fours position. Tuck your toes under to come to downward facing dog. Another inversion here. Pause in the inversion. Release your head. Just to let the neck just experience this nice lengthening from the weight of the head. Look forward between your hands and step your right foot right between your hands. Now just draw your left knee to tap your right calf muscles. So you can move your hands slightly forward, tap the back of the right calf muscle with the left knee, and park your left foot back to the lunge. Now, if you feel like your blocks will aid you in this, it might just give you a little bit more space to do this movement. Feel free to use them. So lift up, tap the back of the calf muscle so you can bend your right knee to do that, and step yourself back. And 2 more times. Step forward, tap, reach back. 1 more time, step forward, tap, reach back. Step your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Just pause in this lunge here. Same thing. So you can do this little rocking motion so that you get a big boost from the back foot. So step forward, tap your right knee back, reach back, and same thing. You're just moving forward and back and come up, tap the back of the left calf muscle, reach your right foot back. 2 more cycles here. Come forward and tap, reach back, and 1 more. Lift up, tap, and reach back. Step back to downward facing dog. So with your hands down, step back to downward facing dog and lift your right leg in the air. Lift it high. So again, we're just really opening up the top of the thigh there, the hip crease. And so lift your right hip up even higher so that you can really stimulate that area. Step the right foot right between your hands. This time, bring your back knee to the earth. Take your hands to the top of the thigh. Just settle into the pose. I also said we'll be working the area of the armpit. As you settle into this low lunge, lift your left arm up, spread your left fingers, reach your left arm to the right side as you just sink a little bit deeper into your pose. Release your left hand down, release your right hand down, lift your back knee up. Keep your left hand where it is or on a block. Take the right hand to your waist, twist, turn toward your inner knee, reach your right arm up, reach your right arm over. Keep your back leg really strong, really lifted. Release your hand down, step back to downward facing dog. Pause here. Look to make sure that your wrist creases are parallel with the front edge of the mat. Claw the mat strongly so that you feel this nice power, especially in your right hand as you lift your left foot up in the air. So as you press through the right hand to lift your left foot even higher, again, for that nice stimulation of the inner groin area. Look between your hands, step your left foot right in between the hands, bring your back knee down. Bring your hands to right above your knee. Reach your right arm up. Reach over so that you get this nice side stretch. Release your right hand to the earth. Tuck your back toes under to lift the knee up and twist. Turn toward the inner knee. Reach your left arm up. Reach your left arm over your head. And slowly release your hand down. Step back to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. So now you're at the very back of your mat. Bend both knees. Place your hands right above your knees. Open your chest with your arms straight. Now lift the arms away from the knees and just open the chest even more fully in this uttanasana pose. Take the hands even wider apart and exhale. Take your hands back to the earth. Walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. Just be there momentarily as you look forward and walk, step, or hop your way to the front of the mat. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Inhale, take your arms way up and back. Exhale, come to the earth. Inhale, look forward. Exhale and soften down. Step your right foot back. And in the same way that we did before, we'll be doing that tapping work to the back of the calf muscle. You may want to use your blocks so that you can just get a little bit more lift here as you do it. So on the in-breath, just tap your right knee to the back of the calf muscle. Reach your right leg back. Now do that again. Tap your knee to the back of the calf muscle. Step your blocks forward so that now you can stretch your right leg in the air. So you're on your left leg, your right leg is stretched in the air. Draw your left elbow in toward your right knee. So bend your right knee, reach your left arm out and your right leg out. Bend your left elbow, hug in, stretch out. Your right hand is solid on the floor, left foot is solid. Hug in again and stretch out. Now slowly park yourself back to the lunge position, downward facing dog. And if that's not working for you, just come to child's pose. So we just pause here. And as you pause, just have a nice evenness of the breath. Two more cycles of the breath. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees. Place your hands right above your knees. Straighten your arms. Lift your arms away from your knees to open your chest. Take your hands even wider apart. Exhale, take your hands down. Walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. Now walk your feet forward or jump. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, take your hands alongside your ankles to take your left leg back. And just like we did before, we'll be tapping the back of the right calf muscle here. Let's do a lift off and tap the back of the right muscle, the right calf, and step back. We'll do that a second time. So step forward, tap. Now, if you'd like to place your hands on blocks, feel free to do that. With the right foot strong, reach your left leg out in the air and straight. Keep your right foot grounded. Keep your left hand on the earth. Let your right arm leave the earth. Bend your right elbow, bend your left knee, hug in. Inhale, reach out. Hug in, draw in as you stay powerful on your right leg. Reach out. Two more. Draw in. Reach out. One more. Hug in. Reach out. And slowly make your way back. Downward facing dog. Last cycle, walk your hands back to your feet with your knees bent. Place your hands above your knees. Straighten your arms. Lift your arms up with the hands wide apart. Exhale, take your hands down. Come to all fours position. Walk your hands forward and come to all fours position. We'll be using a rolled towel or blanket now. Take your object and blanket or towel and just roll it just partially. So this area, like I said, we're working on this lymphatic system that tends to cluster in the hip area and the armpit area. Step your right foot forward and just place Not a fully rolled blanket because it won't give you enough area or enough to work on, but just enough to give you a little compression. I've taken this blanket right at the hip crease. Take your blanket there and just come into a lunge. So you'll feel a little bit more pressure there. Now see if you can do a twist. It's not accessible to all of us, but see if you can turn yourself just a little bit more. So with that compression, with the blanket, it's pushing the thigh back. If you'd like to take your hands in a prayer position, go ahead. Or you can just stay in this twisted form. And just breathe in and breathe out. Let the blanket do its thing. And slowly come out of the pose. Take your blanket out. Let's come to the opposite side. Step your left foot forward. Same thing. Have a pretty tight roll on this blanket. And squeeze it in to the top of the thigh. Settle in. Just draw down. That might be just plenty for you on this side. Or if you can do a twist, turn into it, you'll feel just a little bit more pressure there as you drop in a little bit lower. Keep on turning your underside ribs. Turn toward your hands in this prayer position. And see if you can still expose that eternal flame of the heart. And release your hands down. Come to, just take the blanket away from you. Come to take the right foot right between your hands. Tuck your back toes under. And we'll again open up this armpit area. So take your left hand back, find your heel. Inhale, lift up. One thing I'd like to add here, you can find a tall block if that works for you. If you have your hand on your back heel, see that the hand is kind of pressing the heel out, but the heel itself is really trying to press in. All right, so either the block or the hand to the heel. Reach your right arm forward, plug in, take the head of the right arm bone back, reach your right arm up, reach your right arm over, open up the groin area and the armpit area. Inhale, lift yourself out of the pose. Come to all fours position, step your left foot forward. Either use your block or take your hand to your foot. Take your left foot forward with your back toes tucked under, excuse me, or you can have your knees padded nicely. Find your heel, reach your left arm forward, plug in, pull in from the fingertips to the heart, reach up and over. Just open up nicely. Again, if your hand is on your foot, really work the shin in, the inner heel in toward the midline. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, come down to all fours position. Step your hands a giant step forward and either come to a child's pose or come to downward facing dog. So as you come to downward facing dog, pause there or pose. Set this nice in-breath and out-breath. The downward facing dog is a nice inversion to really stimulate this lymphatic system. The child's pose is just a nice way to just bring more awareness and more flow in the hip area. Let's all make our way up to the front of the mat. Place your hands to your low back and lift yourself up. Come to a very wide stance. And in this wide stance, turn your toes out. Sometimes they call this the horse position, where the toes are turned out about 45 degrees. The knees are tracking right over the toes. But just drop your pelvis down a little bit. And as you drop down, reach your arms forward with the wrists right over the elbows. Cross your right elbow underneath and just reach your fingers up. And hold the pose and do the opposite wrap. So elbows forward and opposite intertwine of the arms. Press down to inhale and rise up. Release your hands. Come to a wide stance. Turn your right toes out. Lift your arms up. So again, this nice opening at the armpit area. So you lift your hands just a little bit higher than your armpit area. Reach down. The right hand to come to wherever it freely comes. Right? Make a fist with the left hand. Just hold in. So you, from the fist, you're drawing in toward the armpit. Reach your arm over. Just get this nice length here in the pose. Inhale, lift up. Other side in the triangle pose. Turn your right toes in, the left toes out. Still have this nice openness to the chest. Again, not too far. This allows now this inner groin area to get a nice stretch here. Get more tone in the arm by making a fist with your lifted hand and pull in from the fist to the armpit. And you'll see the more you pull in from your fist to the armpit, the more you'll be able to lift the underside ribs up. More twisting action you get. Inhale, lift yourself out of the pose. Exhale, release your hands. Now let's sit down. So come to a seated position with your feet fairly, we might be using our blanket again here, with your feet fairly wide apart. And with your feet fairly wide apart, we'll take the left knee down, left knee all the way down. If the left knee doesn't go all the way down, see if it can hit a blanket. Hit some, so the knee is down on something, right? Turn your right knee in as well. Now press into the edges of the feet. Keep the left knee down on the blanket or the sticky mat and lift your right knee up. Keep this knee down. Keep on lifting the right knee up, almost so that you're planting the foot, if you can, while the knee is still down. Now slowly lift that knee up. Same thing on the other side. Maybe you can keep the knee on the sticky mat without a blanket, but just use that as this tactile impression. So with your feet nice and wide apart, take your right knee down to something, to the sticky mat, to the blanket, to something. And slowly, you can start with both knees down. Now slowly, very slowly, lift the back leg up. Keep this right knee pressing down. Lift up, lift up, lift up so much. Hopefully you're able to sense what we're doing here in the inner groin area. As you start to plant your foot, pull in from the left foot to the groin area. Good. Keep your right knee down. And now take both legs up. All right. If you're really doing those actions, it's pretty powerful, I think. Take your blanket if you need it. to the opposite side. We'll do one more round of that. So start with your knee down. Both knees down, actually. Start here. And very asymmetric. This hip starts very lifted. But see, as you lift the knee, as you lift it oh so slowly, can you keep this left knee parked as you try to bring your right sit bone down and the right knee up? Have to go slow, otherwise you get really ungrounded here. And other side, so start with your feet wide apart, your right knee on something, the mat, the blanket, left knee down again, pressing the right knee down very slowly, open up, very slowly. Try to park your left foot back to a nice wide stance here. So have the legs forward. You can use your blanket now to sit on if you'd like to get just a little bit more natural curve. So see if you can spread your toes. We worked a lot on the inner groin to get just that lymphatic area fully engaged. And the upper body around the armpit area. So let's do a twist toward the right leg. Reach your right hand to the earth. Reach your left hand somewhere to the outside of the right leg. And now pull in, just like we were doing in that Ardha Ustrasana. I ask you to pull the inner heel into the midline. So do the same thing in this Upavista Konasana. Pull in toward the midline with the inner heels before allowing yourself to go a little bit deeper in the twist. Just soften down. And inhale, rise up. Twist yourself to the opposite direction and park your right inner thigh, pressing that down. Right hand somewhere to the outer left leg. Press your left hand to the floor or a block to get as much length and as much anchorage, as much stability in this right inner thigh area as possible before going to a nice twisting forward fold. So you're hugging the inner heels in as you reach this burning heart forward, the Anahata chakra. The flame is always burning brightly. In this case, we're just kind of creating more brightness by allowing lymphs to just kind of flow in toward the heart. And inhale, rise up. So let's lie on our back next. Straighten your legs. We'll be doing kind of like a C shape. So maybe you want to just take a look at your monitor here. So we'll be crossing one leg over the other, and imagine I'm straight, and then crossing the arms. As you lie on your back, I'll walk you through it. Lie on your back. Cross your left leg over your right. Now move your feet over to the far right edge of your mat. Now grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and move your hands over above your head and over to the right side. So you just pause here as you give yourself kind of this nice arch all the way from you can feel the armpit to the groin area, this nice length through the mid-thoracic area. Just breathe in so fully and deeply to that side body area. You can have a slight bend to your elbows so that the shoulders come back, but let your breath do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Let your breath just expand through the side body. You breathe in deep and you breathe out long. Keep on reaching both your feet and your hands over toward the right as you're reaching the left ribs to the left. And now shift your feet to the opposite side. So as you do, take your right foot, your right shin bone on top of your left, go as far as you can over to the left, and do the same with the hands. This time, hold the right wrist with your left hand and a slight bend to the elbows. But reach your feet off to the left side. Just invite nice fullness here to the side body. Breathe in deep and just allow the right ribs to expand nicely. Now release your hands and unravel your legs to take your feet back to the mat. Bend your knees. Take your block, and I kind of like it on the middle height here, with your toes pressing down, the base of the toes pressing down. Lift your heels up, lift your pelvis up, and just put your pelvis, your sacrum, on that middle height here. Just pause here for a moment with the sacrum on that middle height. We started with an inversion on our forearms, and we'll end with an inversion. Just again, to get this flow of the lymph back toward the heart. Reach your feet up toward the sky. And if you feel like, oh, I'm not parked so well, I don't feel that stable, it feels like too much work to lift my feet up, then adjust your blocks so you feel like it provides a good foundation for this inversion. Lift your feet up. Just get a nice reach through your heels. First, you reach your heels up. Now, reach the base of the big toe up just slightly, not like pointy feet, but so that your toes are just slightly higher than your heels. Spread your toes. And now with that extra energy, just helps to move things all the way from the feet to the backs of our legs and toward the heart. Stay with your feet lifted. Close your eyes. Invite a nice, easeful in-breath and out-breath. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Bend your knees and plant your feet. Lift your heels up so you can easily slide your block out from underneath you. Place your feet as wide apart as your mat is. Take your arms and just going to open up the arms in this T position, palms facing up. Just let your knees float from one side to the other. Keep your feet planted. Just move your knees. Let it be very easeful, very gradual movements. With the arms open, it just kind of reminds you of the openness of the upper chest that you can feel. This armpit area got stimulated during our practice. The movement of your legs now just kind of allows the groin muscles to settle slightly. Come back to the center position. Just draw your knees in, just grab hold of your knees. And as you grab hold of your kneecaps, with the palms pressing down, it's almost like you're trying to shorten your thigh bone by pressing from your knees down to the pelvis. Now, once you do that, press your knees away from you so that you get this nice, natural curve of the spine. Keep that and stretch your right leg out, your left leg out. Let your arms just relax. Pause here. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Enjoy an easeful shavasana. Keep your awareness to your breath. Allow your outer body to soften. See with your breath if you can have this felt sense of brightening, this eternal flame of the heart. Let your breath be a way to stoke that flame. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Breathe in deep. Breathe out long. Bend both knees. Plant your feet. Sweep your arms up over your head. Make your way to your side. Slowly lift yourself up to come to sit. Place your hands in front of your heart. Draw your breath in. To that eternal flame that resides within. We bow. Namaste. Thank you all.